Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel, and in today's video we're going to be going through Barry, one of our clients, in terms of how he lost over 30 pounds of body fat and saw his abs for the first time, losing that sort of stubborn body fat. And I thought we'd go through the exact steps and the exact processes that we use to help Barry achieve this lifelong goal of his. So where was Barry's initial starting position? So Barry is a busy working man. He's constantly on the go, constantly working, up very early, home very late, and he's always traveling as well. He had lots of holidays in this process. So it was a real interesting one of how we can help him navigate those trips, those travels, and still see results at the same time. Barry reached out on Instagram and we had an initial discussion there in terms of what his actual real goals were. What did he really want to achieve? We then decided to jump on a quick call, have a quick chat about, where he was probably going wrong, what he'd been trying in the past, what wasn't quite working for him, and where he really wanted to go this year. And then after having that initial consultation call, we then got going on the program and Barry started seeing results from day one. Now, Barry's why was because he was stuck. He'd been trying for a while to, lose the body fat, lose that sort of stubborn fat that he just couldn't quite shift. He was training quite a bit, quite frequently on his own before he joined the process, but he wasn't really focusing on his nutrition and his diet, which is where we really like to focus to make sure that the results we achieve are super sustainable. And the goal and the dream for Barry was to see his abs on his honeymoon. That was the priority here, and we really got to work with that. We went through our 3 phases. We went through an initial fat loss phase. We then went through a sort of a push-up phase, building foods back up, and then we went through another dieting, another fat loss phase again after that for Barry. And this was all done through our guilt-free nutrition system. So Barry was able to eat foods he loves, eat foods that he and his family all enjoyed, and obviously go on these trips and travels and still see results while she was out there, even though he was still able to enjoy himself. So when we look at Barry's journey here in terms of his graph, in terms of his rate of fat loss, as always, we started with that initial calorie deficit, dropping him into that deficit to start seeing results quickly, to start losing that body fat and start shifting away at the stubborn fat that we wanted to lose. We then went into that, like I said, that push-up phase where foods were slightly increased, to start focusing on driving a bit more energy into his sessions, building a little bit more lean muscle. We then dropped back into a deficit, navigated a couple of stag do's and a couple of trips where, a bit of food and some beers were consumed, but then got straight back onto it, started losing that body fat again, back into that deficit before then looking to maintain the physique and maintain the fat loss that we had achieved post-honeymoon. So when we break down how we got Barry results, we're going to go through our guilt-free nutrition system here so that you can look at implementing this and using it yourself, because it's the only way, in my opinion, that you're going to get sustainable fat loss, where you actually lose that body fat, you get yourself in great shape, and you're able to keep it off for the rest of your life. No yo-yo dieting around here. So where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to diet and it comes to nutrition is that they try the chicken and rice diet every day, which is boring, it's bland, it's not sustainable. Unless you're someone who can eat chicken and rice every day for the rest of their life, it's not going to work for you. Cutting out carbs, again, cutting out our main energy source, it's not going to work. Your mood will drop, your energy will drop, you'll find it ridiculously difficult, and you'll fall off track after only a few weeks. And then over-restricting, removing the foods from your house that you actually love and you really want to be eating. If you can incorporate those into your plan instead of over-restricting and cutting them out, it's so much more sustainable again. Because if we play it out and you were to cut these foods out from your diet, inevitably down the line, you're going to want to eat them again. And that's just where you gain the weight back. So if we can fit these into your calories and your macronutrients within reason, we're going to see far more sustainable results. Now, the problem with doing it this way, this ultimately leads to falling off track. When you cut out your foods, when you do the same boring diet every day, you fall off track because of low energy, hunger levels through the roof, crazy cravings, and ultimately frustration, because you're not going to see great results. So then you just stop and you fall off track and you get demotivated. Whereas with the guilt-free nutrition system, what we did with Barry instead, we asked him what foods he loves, what foods he enjoys, what snacks he wants to be consuming and eating. And then we were able to fit these in and build a plan around these foods to get Barry results. What we focus on doing is crunching the numbers our end with the foods that Barry told us he wanted to be eating. We crunched the numbers to then build out that plan, that strategy for Barry. We worked out his proteins, his carbs, his fats, his calories for him, full of the foods that he loves, so that he could go and follow that strategy and that plan we had whilst eating foods that he wanted to be eating. By having that structure and that plan in place for Barry as well, we eliminated the guesswork. The diet and nutrition, which is such a complicated part of the process for a lot of people, they end up guessing, they end up winging it. They just see a few things online and then give that a go, and then that leads to nothing. So if you eliminate that guesswork, which is what we did with Barry, by giving him that structure, giving him that plan, that guidance, and everything that he needed to follow, he executed on that, and then we just started dropping body fat week by week. What we also did with Barry, as well as giving him that structure and that plan, that guidance to follow, we were able to use our systems and our protocols so he was able to enjoy weekends, go out for food, go on his trips, go on his travels, and understand how to navigate the foods out and about when technically off plan. And this is again why it's so much more sustainable to do it this way, because you learn and understand how you can eat the foods you love, how you can go out and enjoy your life while still seeing results. So what does this mean? So rather than getting caught in that constant cycle, which a lot of people do, where they start, stop, start, see some results, then fall off track because it's unsustainable, rather than being that sort of hamster wheel of constantly just going round and round and round, Barry was able to remain consistent here. He was able to be consistent week on week, drop the body fat week by week, and then eventually that longer term goal was achieved where he was able to see his abs. But because we do it this way as well, it stops that yo-yo diet where 90% of people who do a diet, who do a fat loss phase, they end up regaining that weight plus more down the line because they haven't used a sustainable method. But by doing it this way, by not cutting out the foods that you enjoy, just incorporating them into your plan, you're able to lose the fat, lose the body fat, and you don't have to inevitably try and add these back in. You just keep eating the foods you love and keep making more progress. So ultimately, because we were able to show Barry how to eat the foods that he loves and he enjoys, he was just able to have sustainable fat loss for the rest of his life. So we've helped educate him and help build that knowledge up for Barry. So the results that he's got now, where he's looking incredible, feeling amazing, they are truly lifelong. So where is Barry now? In terms of his results, Barry has lost over 35 pounds in body fat. He can now see his abs for the first time. He's the most confident he's ever been in himself. And because we eliminated that process of yo-yoing, Barry's results are truly lifelong and sustainable for forever. So I hope this video was pretty useful, pretty helpful. I know it's a little bit of a different one. We obviously did it with Kyle as well and went through, Kyle's journey. I hope this was useful. If you do have any questions about the process that we went through with Barry, or how to lose body fat yourself and lose that sort of stubborn belly fat, just drop some questions down below. If you do have any, drop them in the comments. But if you watch this and you think, look, I really want to achieve this, I really want to lose my body fat, I've tried and tried and tried before, and I just haven't quite been able to do that, then what you can do is if you go down below and click the link to actually request more information on our online coaching, what I'll do then is I will reach out and we can have a bit of a chat, a bit of a conversation, and just see if your goals are something that we can help with. So I hope this was useful. I hope it was a good video. Any questions, drop them in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.